Hi, I'm Jess Todd-Feld, leader of the Presentation Training Workshop and president of Results First Training. I have some very specific techniques to give you today. And why would I want to just give these techniques to you? Well, the reason is I want to help you to become more calm, comfortable, interesting, connect with people in a brand new way, create action. Think about what action means to you when you speak to people, whether you're speaking to your colleagues, or if you have employees, or a boss, or prospects, clients. Think about what that means for you, action. So let's jump right into it. I know I'm setting the bar pretty high, by the way, which is what we do, and that's okay because we see the results. But let me start with this type of a presentation, which is a standard standing over here giving a speech. You know, before I even do that, I want to say, you may never give a presentation where you have to stand behind a lectern. You may only be standing in front of a conference room, and that's okay. All of these techniques work in these situations. But this is a common one and a great place to start, which is somebody says, hey, Jess, we want you to give a speech. Come stand in the front of the room, whether it's just in the front of the room or behind a lectern like this. And what happens first? Well, what happens is 75% of my body language is either obscured or locked down just by the nature of coming up here. It's not good. It's not interesting. For you. For me, the speaker, the presenter, oh, it's terrific because I get to hide back over here. I get to put notes in front of me. Boy, this is so interesting. It's great for me. Not exactly for you. It's way, way less interesting. In fact, anybody who would be watching me would probably tune out about 10 seconds in. But something interesting happens when I just come out from behind the lectern. People in the room are glued to what it is that you're saying because they know something is different. Everybody else approaches communicating and giving a speech, presentation, whatever you want to call it, one-on-one, sales calls, they approach it the way everybody else does it. So we're starting with this, which is coming up beyond your comfort zone and being audience-centered and not me-centered. So if you're keeping track and you're writing these down, being audience-centered will help you instantly connect. I'm going to even say as far as having a connection in a magical way, because people have said that to us in our program. Said I couldn't believe how people were laser focused on everything that I said. So even just coming out and moving around. I'm making it harder on our camera person over here, lighting-wise. But moving around makes it more interesting. Now, if you give a PowerPoint presentation, like a lot of you might, I hate to even call it a PowerPoint presentation because you know what? It's always a you presentation. But if you're using PowerPoint, you will probably turn and put your notes up on screen where everybody can see you reading your notes. And you turn your back on everybody, which in most places in the world is an act of defiance and just plain rude. Is this interesting for you? Well, let me read to you everything that I wrote out, and now I have bullet points and the rest of it's there. No, it's not interesting to you. It's pretty darn boring. Here's what you need to know about PowerPoint. PowerPoint should only be used to enhance what it is that you're talking about and not take away. This is a brand new filter for you to be running all of your information into. And I know some of you right now are sitting there and thinking, but Jess, I have all this data that people need to see and hear about. Okay, maybe a handout is the best way to deal with it. Maybe you should put it up there, but maybe you shouldn't put so many ideas all on the same page because it's too much. This is one of the areas that we get into in the presentation workshop, but not all of the areas. I haven't even gotten into the whole big add-on that you don't have in most presentation workshops, which is the idea of creating action. And the way you do that first is to become more memorable. So we teach you to become more memorable. Of course you're thinking, well, Jess, where's the strategy for doing that right now? All right, well, here it is. It comes from the magic phrase. You want to know what the magic phrase for presenters is? You ready? You ready? Drum roll. For example. Anytime you say, for example, you've now gone into a brand new level as a communicator. Here's why. Most people, when they're talking to business colleagues or prospects or doing a sales presentation or trying to get a boss or an underling to do what it is that they need to do, they give data points. We need to do this, and we did that, and these are the details, this is who was involved. They give lists of data. And that's okay, but it's not connecting with people on this whole other level that gets them to crystallize the messages in their own brains and remember them. So for example, I will give you an example of that. For example, I'm doing it right now. I'm trying to use it. For example, I had a client who came through. He was a big deal CEO of an oil pipeline company. And on one of the breaks, I said, so why did you come here? Why are you taking this presentation workshop? And he said, you know, I just want to brush up on my skills. I go around the world, really, and I talk to these guys who work on these pipelines, and I just do a safety speech. You know, I just thought I'd brush up on my skills. And I said, okay. He said, it's no big deal. It's not that big of a deal. And I said, well, let me ask you, what happens if they don't, here's that word again, remember. What happens if they don't remember what it is that you said? He said, well, that would be a problem. And I said, well, why? He said, well, look, they could lose some fingers or possibly a limb. Oh, okay. And what else? He said, well, that's, I guess, if we got away easy. If it was much more difficult, if there was a bigger problem, well, there could be loss of life. And of course, that would be terrible in itself. That would lead to insurance problems, and that's a disaster. And then he paused, and he said, not to mention the media fallout, that would be pretty bad. And then it looked like a little sweat was coming down his face. And I said, not just a tiny little safety speech anymore, is it? And he said, no, it's not. I do need these people to really understand what it is that I'm saying, remember it, and take action. And that's what you want to do anytime you speak. Or else it's really just a waste of time. And that's really what I want you to think about right now. So you can practice it, but I want you to think about taking action in your own life, which is this program. If you think what I've said so far is valuable, and you think it could help you, or a colleague, I want you to take action. I want you to join our program. And we will show you how to use body language in a better way. I'm accentuating it extra right now. Get your voice to be more interesting, charismatic. We'll get you to formulate your messages, what it is that you say, what you want to say in any type of a presentation, speech, interpersonal communication. We'll help you create those stories, and we'll give you actionable items for action. So I hope you take action today. Join us. We have so much great material, and we want you to be a part of it. I'm Jess Todtfeld.